in. So okay, so let's wait a little bit for the system to send like a notification to the subscribers.
And really, I can see that your way of learning Thai, online classes and interactive, is actually a better format than traditional rote learning, learning in a classroom. Yes.
Yeah, I do not like to do things that like boring. Maybe I'm not a good student. Okay, so while waiting for a little bit. So,
I'm reading. Yes.
Okay, sure. So basically, I have like my questions which I didn't send you.
Okay.
Yeah, because I want it to be kind of like natural.
Natural. Yes. You work very hard, don't you? But you like your work?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Kind of like I enjoyed it. So at the beginning, there will be some question to get to know you, like who you are, like to get the audience who's watching live and who's watching later to get to know you, like who you are, like this is
จะพู
me.
ดภาษาไทยหรือภาษาอังกฤษ
Sometimes I will ask you in Thai, but
sometimes
mostly
in English.
yeah,
Okay,
because
okay.
I think I need your advice.
Okay.
Yeah. And then it's gonna be how, and then your life, and then this is gonna be at the end. So okay. Or maybe we just started, and then people can watch later anyways. Okay. All right. So,
And your first name?
my first name.
I call you.
You can call me Pui.
Boy.
Okay.
Do we have to why? Do we have to why?
Normally I don't.
No, I was going to say because my husband said sometimes if foreigners don't do it properly, it doesn't look good. ถ้าฝรั่งทำไม่ดีดูไม่ค่อยดีเท่าไหร่ Maybe he's too strict.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's good to go casual. Okay, so สวัสดีค่ะทุกๆคน so everybody. Okay, so today you can look at this one. Okay, so this life is a special one because I have a guest, and she's the one who is going to recommend you for the path for learning Thai. She could achieve like being able to communicate in Thai, like achieve the Thai test in just 1 year. So there should be something about it. สวัสดีค่ะ Ken. Okay, so first of all, let's get to know her a little bit before receiving her advice. Okay, so Dr. Donna, okay, ทำงานอะไรแล้วก็อยู่แถวไหนค่ะ
Donna เป็นหมอ I'm a doctor เป็นหมอของอังกฤษและดอนน่าสอบทำใบประกอบโรคเซนที่นี่ด้วยของประเทศไทย so เรียนและผ่านที่นี่ so ท่องเรียนพูดภาษาไทยอ่านภาษาไทยเขียนด้วยแบบไม่ค่อยเขียนเท่าไหร่แต่อันนี้หลายปีแล้ว
Okay, so she's a doctor here and she needs to pass the test, the Thai test in Thailand. Okay. So should I learn traditional script or modern script?
Traditional words. When I first came to Thailand, that was a long time ago. So I guess a lot of you guys are younger than me. I think I came in 1990. Can you remember? 30 ปีที่ผ่านมา
30 years ago.
What was it like living in Bangkok? I think everybody could read and write English, but there was obviously it was a lot better if you could speak Thai, and people appreciate it now. Even taxi drivers like you to say they always, oh, that's good Thai you speak. They're happy.
Okay, so you worked here for 25 years as well as have been living here for 25 years.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you do in Thailand besides being a doctor?
What do I do?
Yeah, how's your life
Well,
here?
I like living here. I think there's Bangkok, wherever you're coming to, and it may not be Bangkok, Thailand's pretty international. You can...
Since 30 years ago?
I think it always has been. But I think because it's often so big, the city like Bangkok or wherever you are, it's difficult to find what you want. So, but you will always find it, even if it's the most unusual hobby or interest. And nowadays I like the meetup groups that you can go. I like walking. I like meeting friends. I like running. I'm getting a bit lazy now. But there's a lot of good runs to go on here.
Can you tell us, like, you are a doctor? Which hospital do you work for?
Well, I've got my own clinic. Plugging my own clinic, guys.
Med consult, right?
You remember, boy. Yeah, and I'm also working at Bangkok Hospital.
Which is the #1 hospital here.
Yeah, it is. There's a lot of competition though, and a lot of, you know, and because the hospitals are JCI, American certified, whatever the top certifications are, they want to get it. So make sure that we're all pulled up and follow what is the best international practice for anything when you're working.
You are?
I'm a urogam. Does anybody know the word?
No, I don't.
A urogam.
No.
Internal medicine.
Internal?
It means general medicine, like chronic diseases, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes.
Oh, all those stuff.
Yeah, those things that you get.
And what about your clinic? What is it about?
Well, the clinic, we're doing a lot of COVID tests at the moment. Is anybody going to be traveling?
I did one, guys.
You did?
Before I traveled to the island, I took a test. I did take a test at her clinic.
Great. It's getting easier and easier. The other thing we've taken advantage of is looking good, Botox and fillers. So, you know, Thailand's also a big center for aesthetic treatment. Some people combine it with a holiday. And, you know,
it's cheaper here.
It's not, yeah, it's cheaper. There's a lot of international brands like the Korean ones. And there's a lot of competition. There's a lot of trainings. Just last Sunday, how on earth did I spend my Sunday? But my manager booked me a thread lift course.
Okay.
Called Roy Mai in Thailand. So I went to that. It's just, you know, there's trainings at the many universities, courses, clinics, in whatever you might want to.
Okay.
You can find it.
So everyone in your clinic can speak English?
Yeah, they can. But of course we want to attract other people too, because there's big communities around us. From Korea, from Australia, Canada, Europe, yeah, Korea now, Singapore, Hong Kong, all sorts of people you meet here. In Japan's a big one, of course.
Okay, so guys, this is just like an introduction for you guys to get to know her. Okay, so let's go right to the topic.
Yes.
Okay, so you can communicate in Thai in just 1 year. Can you help to go through the process, like from step 1, step 2, and step 3 until you passed the Thai test?
Well, first of all, I'm always one of these people. I think I found it difficult at first. And when you're learning Thai, they say to you the tones, and you think, what is that? But don't be too confused. It's like we have a shop here called 7-Eleven. A well-known shop, but if you said 7 in that way, 11, everybody knows what you mean. But if you just said, oh, 7-Eleven,
we do, yeah, we do.
It's the kind of way that you say it. Just like we would say words. So don't get too, I wouldn't get too upset by, I think when I learnt it 30 years ago, it was like, oh, there's all these tones, there's all these flavors of a mango. But now I think it's more like conversation is what helped me most. In
So
fact,
don't worry about the tones.
I wouldn't worry. I think if you and when people speak to you, are you guys in Thailand or not, or coming to Thailand? When people speak to you or in your classes, interactions, just repeat almost what they say, like, have you eaten? Tan khao riang, or riep roi lao, say riep roi. So a lot of the time you can almost paraphrase what they're saying to you.
Okay, so one thing that you did is to paraphrase. Always.
And maybe I'm doing that now. The other thing is having a teacher that's really teaching you what you want.
Okay, so
that's the key.
First, don't worry about tones. Second is to paraphrase. Whatever you hear, paraphrase
Copy.
it. Okay, and the third one is to find a teacher.
Find a teacher who
That's no sponsor here, guys. I'm not sponsoring her. She said by herself.
And find a teacher that will teach you what you want, not what they want.
Okay.
So when I was studying for the Thai medical license, you know, I had a teacher, we were learning to read and write and coming across medical language.
So you have a personal tutor?
I did in those days, because there wasn't, you know, we didn't have these interactive, it was all, can you imagine, rote learning, write down this, very different the traditional classes, like sitting in a classroom. So a teacher that, and also through conversations with other doctors. So the conversation is the key, asking them, what is the name of the liver? For me, I want to know what is the name of the liver, what is the name of the spleen, or tum nam di, the gallbladder. But so you must, you know, having classes and learning about what matters to you.
How long did you have like a kind of a private tutor with you, like for how many months or years?
Probably, no, not years. Probably
just
6 months to a year maximum. I think, you know, you because then once you start speaking and interacting and learning or with others, it does become easy because you get the confidence. Whereas at first you're trying to say all these words, even khop kun ka to some people. Could have been different, but sawadika is pretty easy to say, isn't
How
it?
much did you pay for your private tutor?
Oh, but that was 25
30
years ago. I remember then it was, even then, it was like 300 to 600 baht an hour.
Reasonable.
Is that reasonable? That was 25 years ago.
Yeah.
So now it's
nowadays
be
like
1, 2, 3,000. I think 1,000
for a
an
very
hour.
good one. A very good one. Okay. So the third one, you got a good teacher.
Yeah, definitely. Well, the teacher taught you what you wanted. That's the key. Like, why teach you about shopping in a market if you're not going to go to a market? It was very much in like 30 years ago.
How did you choose a teacher?
Well, I found someone said Jintana can.
Is
she your rival?
Yeah.
She's really good.
Yeah.
And she runs Jintana, and I think even then she had private teachers because we had no other way but a private teacher either to visit you in your home because they were doing it in lots of different homes. So they would
she's
visit
the
you.
one. She's the one who built you, your Thai.
And then she sent her sister to teach me as well.
I got it. Sawadika, Steve Jones. Okay. And what about the fourth factors that helped you?
Helping me, well, just being here and having the confidence.
They couldn't be here, like most of them, right now.
Right. So how can you, I think you've got to practice and you've got to almost pretend you're there and totally immerse yourself, even, you know, whichever way you can. And it's not terrifying speaking Thai or reading it. Speaking it, I don't think so, because even in Thailand there's different accents. So there's the Northern Thai, they all know Pasapungmuk. So people even from different parts of Thailand, you know, they really want to listen to you because maybe they're speaking a local dialect, you know, in their home, or the Northern dialect. So they want to help you. That's the fourth thing.
Okay. Can you go back when you got a teacher? Because I want to know, like, what was the first thing that your teacher taught you?
Well, the very first teacher was at the American Language School, and everybody said just buy the books, go. It was like AUA. It was, you were told, okay, so I'll sign up for some classes, and they had different packages. And then I remember the teacher teaching us things like very much about the tones, and at the very first, and the 5 different flavors of a mango, I remember, and even bringing mangoes in for us to eat. I mean, it was just, it was not really what I think, dare I say, what Thailand's like now, where people are coming in with the trendiest, way out ideas possible that just blow you away. It was different 30 years ago.
So she started teaching you tones since the beginning.
Well, they said there's tones and different flavors of the fruit. They emphasized
that what you would use.
I wouldn't be using this because I wasn't going to be shopping all the time. But it wasn't practical, you know. We learned 1 or 2 things, and then I remember even in my work then I met Carla, who was with the Peace Corps, and she'd lived in a village on the border area for 2 years, and her Thai was just amazing. Oh, I'll never be like Carla.
Because she lived here.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. If you were the teacher,
yeah,
and you need to teach like foreigners,
yeah,
what would be the first lesson that you would teach them? And like, this is very important, my students, you have
foreigners who aren't here, who are overseas, what should they know? Well, they should know how to get around, left, right. In fact, don't people call it taxi time? You know, that how to get around where you are. How are you?
What about learning the alphabet, like letters, vowels?
Not so much.
For you, not so much.
For me. I can remember at the time even opening a dictionary, like I said.
How long did it take for you to remember them all?
I think maybe again learning how to read. Like I say, maybe 3 months, not 2, but I was, you know, take off 20 years, you've got a lot. I was a lot. I didn't fall asleep at night like I do now. I could study at night. So I was, but
it took you 3 months.
3 months, yes. And again, then we used dictionaries. I carried a dictionary around.
You carry dictionary around?
That was 20 years ago. What would you do now?
I had a mobile phone.
Mobile phone is the best way for looking up a word.
Yeah.
Oh, isn't it so much easier now?
Yeah,
You just search it up on, even when I visit other tourists, when we had tourists, and they were Russian or Chinese, and you can use the Google Translate.
Yeah, exactly.
It works well.
It works, but not well. It's not your best friend for learning. Okay, so did you have a notebook with you to write down new words or new phrases? Like,
I did, but I think I would have books that I was using, because I was interested in having medical book, not medical books, more like past questions. This is a question. This is a question about this. This is a question about this. So I was looking kind of technical.
So you have like that book with
And
you all the
actually,
time?
you have to also know how to speak to the patients.
Because you're a doctor.
Yeah, they want to help you. That's the number one thing. But at the end of the day, you've got to be able to communicate with a patient. And sometimes that patient could be old, hard of hearing, sick. So the patient too wants to understand you, because maybe they're not from Bangkok, they're from some very remote area. I remember that.
Okay.
And I think just mixing with a group of other, they were then either medical students, and we'd go on the ward rounds together, but it was like a group.
What do you think, what is the most important thing to do in order to learn Thai language efficiently?
Right. Well, I think you've got to practice it, number one.
How? And then they would think like, how?
Well, can you have conversations? Just conversations together.
Sometimes like
or like karaoke or something.
Like reading or listening is not as good as making conversations, like real conversations.
Real conversations is the
because
way.
it needs everything. Need all the skills.
And you remember the person who's speaking to you, rather than just a book. It's so visual. I remember, years ago meeting someone up north.
So it means to take action.
Action and visual and colors and people, that's what you remember.
Okay, so for you, the first 3 months, you learned about Thai alphabets, letters and vowels. So you remember all those stuff in 3 months. And then next, what is it?
Well, then reading simple from probably children's books. Hey, that's a good idea. Would you still use children's simple? I remember that at first, because what else was the teacher going to find, from so long ago? So I remember her bringing those along. And we practiced reading those and getting quicker and quicker. And then you can look at things around you, the street signs, common words, but speaking is the key. That's the key communication. Like, what do your students want to do?
It includes everything, like for speaking, like it includes all the skills.
And of course you could just say, of course, if you can read, you can understand the language and the way it's said more, and that's true, but I wouldn't get too upset with that. There's people, like my son speaks great Thai, and my daughter, and he doesn't read a lot.
How do you improve your Thai accent, like to speak Thai clearly?
I think you've got to practice and say, and also now.
Do you listen to Thai songs? Do you watch Thai dramas or movies?
That's a good idea, isn't it?
Did you?
Did I?
Did you do?
Years ago, I did listen to a movie.
Okay.
That was maybe because I couldn't even have rented English, or was it in the early days? And it was actually Dr. Zhivago, a very old movie.
Okay.
But it was in Thai.
Okay.
So that could be but it was a movie I love. And listening to it in Thai could be a good way to learn.
Okay. More outputs than inputs.
Yeah, more outputs than inputs.
Okay. So I have another question.
Yes.
If you could be able to relearn Thai language again, what would you do? What would be your first thing, second thing, and 3 things? Like just 3 steps that you would do if you could relearn Thai language again.
Well, I think
now you're good.
I'll put Pasa Thai down.
Yeah.
But now, what would I do? I would do it in a fun way that you were enjoying. I wouldn't be hung up about, what book are you, like me, what book are you on, what level you're on, how amazing. Because really, it doesn't matter so much. You know, even if you can do a little, people, it's good to practice. So at the beginning, yeah, years ago, I would be so hung up about doing it and finding it difficult. You had to get across town to get to a class. And then the class was at this time, maybe 9:30 to 10:30. And then you would go home or go to work.
Do you think having class is efficient or effective?
I don't think it, I think it wasn't. I think a way of learning together, talking to people, having Jintana, talking one-to-one with you and chatting
what if
to you.
they couldn't have like a private one?
Well, it doesn't have to be a private one. It could be a group that interacting on a group together. I mean, what are you offering? Are you offering a group?
Not now.
No, a group. Yeah. So, you know, I guess that's, and often the way children learn, they see something visual in the words.
So do things that kind of like interaction
That's fun and light-hearted.
Light-hearted
And not too difficult. Because even if you pick up one key sentence a week, you know, you can actually, we use the same words most of the day, don't we? So, you know, where is this? Is it hot today? Ron Meka, Nam Tuam Meka, is there flooding? Because in a way too, we make small talk with the patients. Who I'm sure you can all say Nam Tuam Ka. Is there a flood? So.
Oh yeah, I actually wrote down one question that I would like to ask.
Yeah.
If you could go back in time while learning Thai, what would not you do? Like what you wouldn't do? Like it's wasting time for learning. Just don't do it.
Yeah, I just wouldn't go to a traditional class anymore. I wouldn't go across.
Give me a definition of a traditional class.
Well, now we've got the train, so that's quick to get there, but going out of your house, getting on the train, going to the class, learning from your books, coming home, doing your homework, and then going back. And it's kind of slow. I think when you're meeting together, when you're meeting together and you're under pressure, maybe in a group, and you're saying, now it's your turn to say something, now you are under pressure, so you learn. That's how we all learn. We never just learn sitting there. As a doctor, I learn when I'm under pressure. It's my turn, I've got to speak.
I got it. It's a speedy way.
Yeah.
It's a speedy way. Okay, so let's speak about life here a little bit. Okay.
Yeah.
So you can have a sip.
My tea. It's hot. Isn't it? This is the cool season and it's still hot.
So guys, since now on I'm going to speak Thai. So you can practice listening and also listen to her speaking Thai. Okay. บอกอายุได้ไหม
Oh, แทนกลัวมาก
โอเคงั้น
บอกได้แทนบอกว่า62ไม่อยากแทน
You don't look like that.
Maybe living here has some advantages.
You don't look like it. Look at you. โอเคดร.ดอนนาอยู่แถวไหนคะอยู่แถวไหน
อยู่แถวไหนบ้านอยู่แถวสุขุมวิททำงานที่นี่เป็นซอยสุขุมวิท49/9แต่บ้านอยู่ซอยทองหล่อซอย53
บ้านอยู่ทองหล่อสวัสดีค่ะนางกะแล้วคลินิกอยู่ไหนคะ
คลินิกอยู่นี่ข้างในรักคือ ตึก2 ชั้น 3
สุขุมวิทเหมือนกัน
สุขุมวิท 49/9
เวลามาคลินิกมายังไงคะ
มายังไงบางครั้งเดิน
เดิน
ใช่
เดินมาโอเคค่ะ
เดินสุขภาพแข็งแรง
โอเค
บางครั้งนั่งแท็กซี่ เรีย
โอก เค
Grab
แล้วโรงพยาบาลที่ทำงานอยู่ ไปทำงานยังไงคะ
เดี๋ยวนี้ขี้เกียจมาก เพราะว่านั่ง Grab จากโทรศัพท์ตลอดเรียกที่บ้าน แล้วก็ใช้ Grab ประมาณแค่10 นาที ไม่ค่อยยากสุขุมวิทซอย 3
โอเคดร.นักทำงานทุกวันไหมคะทำงานทุกวันไหม
ทำงานทุกวันหลังจากโควิดหลายอย่างเปลี่ยนและส่วนใหญ่วันอาทิตย์ไม่ค่อยยุ่งเท่าไหร่แต่เราเปิดและมีพนักงานอยู่
เพราะว่าคลินิกเปิดทุกวัน
เปิด7 โมงเช้าถึง1 ทุ่ม
โหดมาก7 โมงเช้าถึงทุ่มหนึ่งเปิดทุกวัน
ค่ะแต่มีพนักงานทำงานส่วนใหญ่วันอาทิตย์พรุ่งนี้ไม่ค่อยมี
วันอาทิตย์
คนเจอหมอส่วนใหญ่เอาพยาบาลเอาตรวจโควิดเจาะเลือด
อยากถาม so maybe we need to speak in English a little bit
yeah
how did you start a business in Thailand
okay how did I start
I think it's not easy
I think you can and initially I was doing occupational health and Chiwa Anamai but many people I'm sure you probably even aren't clear what it is because it's not super clear looking after the health of people in the workplace and then one day so I knew the legal ways to open a business because I worked at a big company before but I would just say start small obviously there's work permits there's license for the clinic we need licenses and approvals every year but if you've got a business that works that's the key and if it's going to work and you're sure it will getting your work permit it's not impossible
Was it difficult for you to get a job in a big hospital?
It wasn't 30 years ago, but I think it's 20 years ago. I think it's a lot more difficult now because there's a lot of competition and the regulations are so high. So it has changed.
Okay, so your clinic is just like over there?
Just across there. Yeah.
How long have you been operating it?
Okay, we opened it in 2008, and a friend said 13 years. 13 years.
Okay.
How time flies. And a friend just said, Donna, why don't you do what you're good at doing? Seeing patients. And then learning the business for me, being a doctor, is completely new. All the psychology of dealing with people, staff.
So most of your customer are foreigners or Thais?
A lot of them have been foreigners, but now we're getting a lot of Thais coming to clinics.
Because of the COVID?
Yeah, they want to come and also they've heard about us like you and they think, well, I'm just going to come back to your clinic.
What are services that you're offering for foreigners?
For foreigners, well, we do checkups, cholesterol. We will do sexual health tests as well.
What?
Well, a lot of these days people want to know they're healthy. And they believe just to know that they are HIV negative or because Thailand's also very open country for treatment and wanting people to get medicines and treatment if they have any sexual illness at all.
Okay, so you guys can come to check your sexual health.
And you know, checkups, vaccinations, people always ask. In the past we saw lots of tourists, sometimes with injuries, you know, that they were always doing like adventure holidays and minor scrapes and lacerations, and then, you know, people come here and they need to get medicines if they need a regular medicine, and again it's always available.
Since you have been a doctor here for so long, if foreigners from European or American would come here for a very good affordable service, which service would you recommend? Like, oh, if it's this one, you have to come here
to our clinic. I would say the blood test packages, knowing your cholesterol, your blood tests.
How much is it?
Oh, we can offer you for free. You can have a cholesterol test, could be like, you know, $10 or less. You could have a glucose
test. Less than $10?
You could have a glucose test for maybe even $2.
How much does it cost, like if it's in London?
Oh, it would be a lot more expensive. There's a lot of competition here. That's the thing. Competition in the medical business is huge.
ลืมถาม I forgot.
Yeah.
ดร. ดอนน่ามาจากประเทศอะไรคะ
Oh, so you mentioned London. มาจากอังกฤษ
มาจากอังกฤษ มาจากเมืองลอนดอน
ไม่ มาจาก Newcastle.
อ๋อ
Newcastle ในภาคเหนือ
อ๋อ
คล้ายๆสกอตแลนด์
อ๋อ
หนาวมาก
ทำไม your clinic a plug like
มีคำถาม
it's just like, what's the name of your clinic? It's Med Consult?
Oh, Med Consult Clinic. This is great how it's live. You see, I do show my age sometimes. Sawadika. Oh my God, more outputs and inputs. Great.
Okay, so we talk about that later.
Yeah.
We talk about that later. Okay, so let's get back to about, okay, so basically I have asked you everything that I have prepared. Okay, alright, so let's plug in about your clinic. Okay, so you can come here for COVID tests and sexual health test, Botox,
fillers, even thread lift, making yourself look great, medicines, blood tests, vaccinations.
Okay. So, did you do fillers and Botox yourself? I'm sorry to ask.
I can't say that.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you offer the service.
Yeah.
What else do you offer?
Gosh, well, we are only a clinic. The testing, the COVID testing's been the big thing, and the antigen tests, and making it as quick and easy for people as possible.
It's very quick, guys. I did. Very quick, very convenient.
Getting it emailed to you later that day. Even a home visit. We do have nurses going to people's homes to do the tests. And we used to have a home visit service when there was many tourists for doctors to take an on-call bag and visit people in their homes.
So everyone, like, I would like to focus that everyone in your clinic can speak English, because not every clinic in Thailand has English speaker kind of like staff. The clinics do.
They can all speak English, yes, but I think all the doctors and nurses speak English in Thailand. I would say
in big hospitals.
Yeah, I think
not like
but I think people are they can all read and write some English.
Most
I can tell
doctors.
you.
Most
Doctors for sure, because a lot of the presentations and the trainings can be in English.
In private hospitals, public hospitals, like in like those doctors.
Yeah, and the nurses too. I mean, everybody can. They don't always have the confidence, like, oh, you don't have the confidence to speak Thai. It's the same for Thai people.
Yeah.
Often they feel, oh, do I really have to speak English? But they can do it.
And he said, like, please leave the link of the clinic in the description.
Oh, that's nice. Thank you. We've got a customer.
Nanka. I think he's in the Netherlands. I'm not sure in Europe.
Yeah.
Okay, so guys, I would like to wrap up.
Yes.
So her advice on learning Thai, like most important is to have interaction.
Definitely.
So basically, he doesn't believe in traditional way of learning, like in class. That doesn't help. You spend too much time on that.
Yeah, for sure.
But the best one is to have like kind of like pressure, have interaction, do it in groups.
Yeah.
That your classmate or like
So it's your turn now.
yeah, your turn. It's your turn. You have to do it. So put a little bit of pressure on yourself.
For sure.
Yeah, and that, and also in the past you have like a dictionary with you all the time, but nowadays it's your phone.
Telephone.
Your phone. And okay, what else? I think the most important one would be interaction. Yeah, because when you need to speak, when you need to interact, you incorporate all the skills that you have learned.
For sure.
Yeah, and that's the highest skills, and yeah, just try to do it. If you are alone overseas, you are not in Thailand, what you can do is
you're gonna get a head start. You can speak Thai or say a few words before you come here.
Okay, so that would be it. And speaking about her class, like how did she achieve being able to communicate in Thai in just a year? What she did, she had a private, she looked for a teacher
who could speak to me about what I wanted.
Yeah, and look for the content that
I needed.
You needed, yeah. And that's one thing. And like having a teacher, she had it like for 6 months or so, half a year, not forever, but just
weekly.
Yeah, weekly, just once a week.
Yeah, maybe twice a week towards the exams. Yeah, when the exams were starting to happen.
Okay, just 1 or 2 times a week.
Yes.
Okay, so look for a good teacher, and she could remember all the alphabets and letters and vowels in 6 months.
Sure.
What's the trick?
The trick's practice and using it, looking at a word, and then you get an idea of opening.
Do you have a book with you all the time? Like, oh, this is my kind of like Bible.
Oh, well, then those days it was the dictionary. I think now it would be a mobile phone, wouldn't it? Just reminders or common phrases.
And she personally think like, do not get serious about tones.
Don't get hung up. It's not the end of, because we don't have tones in many of our languages. And speak the whole sentence. That's what I was gonna say.
Oh, speak the whole sentence?
Yeah, and
instead of just
in
like
Thailand, it's better if you say like, I want to do this because, or do you remember it was the thing I was told, the เอกสารที่เราพูดอาทิตย์ที่แล้ว the document that we were speaking about last week, and then people will know what you're saying, whereas, you know, when they put it into the, just say, oh, you know, and give a bit more detail till you get the meaning across.
Okay, I got it. So instead of just like saying like words, one word or a few words, like try to put it in a full sentence.
Yes.
And try to add,
explain what you're trying to say. You know, try to think of other words that will get your meaning a point.
Put details.
Details,
Okay. So that's a trick. And also, when she learned, she tried to paraphrase.
Oh, paraphrase.
Paraphrase,
yes,
like
yes.
whatever
just
you hear.
Copy them. Yeah, just oh yeah, สวัสดีค่ะ สวัสดีค่ะ ขอบคุณค่ะ ขอบคุณค่ะ
Okay, so these are all the stuff that you did.
Yeah.
And now this is the result.
And it's Saturday afternoon. Gosh.
Okay, so again, she has a clinic.
No, that's fine. No, these guys, I'm going to see, what is the name of your clinic? Med Consult.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Where's your clinic locum video?
Yeah,
This
so
is great. Life is the best way.
it's a very good way. Like I enjoyed it so much because we could have like a live question.
Yeah.
And we can interact with them.
Yeah.
It's just like we are talking with
And
friends.
then you're going to have a time when they speak up.
I couldn't hear them.
Okay.
They can just like send messages.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's a great system, seeing ourselves.
Yeah, you should do it sometimes.
I think she's given me ideas. I'm going to have a Botox conference.
Oh, okay. At the end, guys, at the end, since she has a sexual health test, what is your advice or your recommendation about improving your sexual health?
I would say we're all humans. People are very worried because they think, oh my God, what could happen to me or what have I done? But number one thing is to reassure people. Second thing is to reassure people that everything could have a test or a treatment or a prevention. So it's not just, you know, it's not the stigma that you think there is attached to sexual health. And we do see a lot of people coming here because, especially in the past, they would come from other countries where they felt it wasn't so open to have tests or treatments.
And they came for the test and for the treatment.
Treatment can be easily available. Sometimes it's just taking 4 tablets. There's many. That's why we want to actually reassure people. Because sometimes newspapers will say, beware of this or this. This is so. But again, you know, you can always have a test. But I can't think of any sexual illness that you can't have a test for or a treatment.
Okay. All right, guys, you can come for it. Okay, so this is it for today. And Ken from the Philippines say ขอบคุณมากครับ
Oh,
กับคุณหมอ
ขอบคุณมาก See, are you 62 สวัสดีค่ะ Let's Learn Thai. Thank you, Ken.
Okay, guys. So this is it for today. If you come here, if one day you come here or you are here already, if you have any problem about health or anything about COVID, just go make consult.
Thank you, Bui.
By Dr. Donna Robinson.
Okay.
Yeah, just look for it on Facebook.
Yeah,
and you find it and just send a message.
And learning Thai with Bui, I think is fun. She makes me happy, and I started off with not a happy day. Now I think I'm having a happy day.
Guys,
okay, thank you, Bui.
Thank you everyone for joining and ขอบคุณมากค่ะ
ขอบคุณมากคุณบุยค่ะ
Guys, bye.
Bye.
See you next live.
Bye.
Bye. สวัสดีค่ะ